welcome back to the Treble Clef Project. So today for video number 2 for interpretive speaking, we're going to be talking about HI or humorous interpretation. So in humorous interpretation, you take a play, a book, or a movie, and you take it and you cut it down to 10 minutes. Now there's not a set number of lines that need to be included in this 10 minutes. You just kind of cut it down and then you adjust it to how much to 10 minutes as you continue to go through the process. And so this 10 minutes, you don't want it to all be dialogue. You should include some lines where you might be doing some actions. And so in HI, you're going to have multiple characters because you're taking a book, which is going to have multiple characters, a movie or a play. All of these pieces of literature are going to have multiple characters. And so what you have to do is, in order to differentiate these different characters, you have to use different accents, such as like a country accent or a British accent, different accents. You need to use different stances. So that's like either standing, I'll be showing this later, but either standing like with a hunch or standing really bunched up with your shoulders up. And another thing you can use to differentiate is different facial expressions. So like one of your characters can like always go like this and like always have their eyes open, or they could like talk like this with a weird like facial expression. And so that's really important in HI because you need to be able to differentiate your characters so your audience doesn't get confused, because you're only one person and you're doing all of the characters. And so along with differentiating your characters, the main thing you have to do is a thing called popping. Now, every time your line has a new character, not necessarily like being introduced new, just like say it's like Sally and then Rebecca has a line and then again Sally comes up, then you have to pop every time you change characters. And so the way you do this, and again I'll be showing this later, is by first putting your feet together, and then when you have your next line, you pop your feet out like this. And so this is probably the most important part of HI, because that's the clearest way to indicate to your audience that you're gonna be changing into a different character. And so when you're doing popping, you want to make sure that you're going not fast, but your popping is smooth. You don't want to be like popping and then waiting to go into the stance and then talking. You want to immediately, like if I'm like this, then I'll immediately pop into like another stance for another character. So you don't want to stand like this and then pop here and then move, because that's going to ruin the flow of your speech. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you how to pop. You might not be able to see my face, but you just need to see my feet for this. Okay, and so when you are popping, your first character, you can either start like this with your feet together for your first character, or you can start like this with your feet out. Naturally, most people start like this. It's usually the easiest way to show that you're about to start. And so say for example, so this is how I would start my speech, and then when I want to pop into a different character, I pop like this. So you just like say this is Sally and she says blah 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 blah, and then Rebecca will be popping, and then she might have a different stance like this or something, but this is how she's going to be standing for her lines. And then when you go back to Sally, you pop back. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that Sally's feet always have to be like this. There could be like, Sally could either be like this or this. It's just every time you go into a new character, you need to change your feet, but the feet positions aren't binded to a certain character. So say for example, this is Sally and she says blah blah blah, and then Rebecca will pop like this, and this is her stance, for example. Now you don't want to be standing like this and then pop like this and then go into the stance. You want to be like this and then immediately pop, and then you might go to Vanessa, who's standing like this, and then like back to Sally, and then Rebecca, and then Sally, and then Vanessa. Like, you just have to keep going based on the lines, and then obviously you have to say your lines when you're in that character. So that's the basic for popping. And then like as for stances, kind of like what I was showing, you might stand like this. Some characters are like hunched over like this or like that. So there's a lot of different stances that you can do with your characters. It all just depends on what your lines are and what you think will fit the character. And HI characterization is really based on what you want, and so there's no like set like guidelines to what your character can be. So that's it for the basics of HI. I'll be probably going into cutting a speech and how to like figure out how to characterize in later videos, but that's the basic outline of HI. See you guys later. Oh, and make sure to subscribe.